It's the best of Foul Territory live. Braun and Kratz about to show you some of the best clips, cuts, whatever you want to see from this week. And if you miss anything too, you can just scroll through all the videos we have on our YouTube channel. For me, what stands out is my favorite player, according to Todd Frazier, Kendall Graveman. Soon after Todd Father telling me that he was my fave, I got to him, said, hey, would love to have you on. And then I find out that he's a big fan of the show, which you'll see in a sec.
So he's a fan of us.
Yes.
I became a fan of him. And we got to talk a little White Sox with him and pretty much the rest of the world.
Yes. The best analysis on the White Sox firings is here, and you'll see that included too. Let's run it.
One song whenever I get out, one song whenever I get a hit, and that's the song. But And I Will Always Love You, because it's a baseball song, because I got a hit, so I'm happy about it, and I'm back in love with the game. So it's kind of and that's what I got for you right there.
Yeah,
I'll walk right in the cage. Walk right in the cage and sing that, and if you hear that, that means I got a hit, and baseball gods are on my side now.
The first thing he pulled up was, hey, I think they hot mic caught me dropping an F-bomb to Alex. And he showed it to me. We both laughed about it, and it's, you know how it gets in a game. Tempers flare a little bit, and I thought it was perfect, what he said.
One thing that needs to be said right off the top was how surprising this was, considering Jerry Reinsdorf's history, both with the Bulls and with the White Sox. He is considered perhaps the most loyal owner to employees in his sport, in either sport, and that has been his hallmark. He has stuck with Ken Williams and Rick Hahn for this long. Ken Williams has been with the organization more than 30 years, Rick Hahn more than 20 years.
Listen, there's so much to this story that doesn't make sense from the timing of it. Kenny and Rick were on the field for batting practice yesterday. Had no idea. Had no clue they were getting fired. They get fired between 4:30 and 7 p.m. How does that, explain that process to me.
I would say if I hit a home run, or when I hit a home run rather, I'll definitely probably give him a little smirk. I'll probably, I'm not going to show him up or anything, but I'll probably laugh and try to see his reactions, run around the bases.
If he hits a home run and gives me that look, the next at bat, I'm going behind him for sure. But
if you own a sports team, and we talk as athletes, but as fans too. We all fans of different sports, and we all have that that conversation. If I owned a sports team, I'd be there. I'd be like Mark Cuban if I was an owner. I'd be there. I'd be at the game. I may not be so involved to where I get fined, but I would be involved. I'd be Ballmer. I'd be there because I love sports that much. When I see owners not there at the games and stuff like that, I don't think that, okay, they don't like the product. Most owners make their monies in different ways, and then the baseball is just, another, LLC for them. But I always look at baseball owners as as a fan. I got all that money, I get it. You fly this way, you live a certain life. But at the end of the day, you can for 3 hours, you can be a fan, or 2 hours and 36 minutes. You can be a fan, and you can be a little kid. It's okay to have a hot dog and some nachos and spill something on your shirt. You don't always have to be so ownerish. You know what I mean? That's the kind of owner I would be.
I say it all the time. I write it in the Herald. This is a team where they can celebrate resetting the luxury tax this year, and at the end of the day, they're the most expensive ticket in the game for a family of four, and they're the Red Sox. They're one of the richest ownership groups in all of professional sports, not just baseball. They should be spending the money every year. But I also understand why, after finishing in last place last year, they'd want to reset. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. I think every team should be spending to win every single year. I don't think any team should be going into the season a guaranteed loser before opening day. I think it's bad for the sport that the same 6 or 7 teams are going to the playoffs every single year, and then there's 1 or 2 literal wild cards that are sneaking in.
What your pregame food was before you hit a dinger in Syracuse. Shirt off pregame food.
Shirt off pregame food. I can't remember that.
Pizza and wings, and you got hot.
There you go. Sometimes you just gotta have a little joy off the field. You know what I mean? I've adopted your policy of yogurt and granola, the AAA after 30. Yes. Yeah, it's a little lighter. I can't do what I used to do.
Just make sure you do your fist pumping with Pauly D left-handed, okay?
No. I can lock it out, so I'm going to lock it out at 90 and then just bang.
That's incredible. Just a quick flip.
Just a quick lock it out. There
lock
he is.
it out, make sure it doesn't move, and I can go to town.
That's incredible. Braun and Kratz at the Yankees AA affiliate, the Somerset Patriots. They've been here for well over 2 decades. And AJ, stuck in Studio AJ in Orlando. What's going on, dude? We're in your favorite state.
I have a little something else for you that we put together just for you.
Wow.
In college, how did you get the nickname Bubbles?
So I'll keep it short. So when Rick Vanderhook was at Fullerton, I came in and as a freshman to Fullerton. I was pushing about 240 to 245 pounds. If you could probably put 1, 2 together, I had a big old butt, big old belly, big old head. So he called me Bubbles. And I don't know where he got that name. I think it was the song that came out at the time was called Bubble Butt. And so that kind of stuck with me.
Jonesy, Max's hands are sore, dude. They're 17-2 in August. All they do is shake hands after games. Like, gosh, we can't keep doing this.
Yeah, it's been a fun month. That's something that we talked about with the guys. Earlier this year, we had a month where we only won like 8 or 9 games. I don't know what the number was, and we kept telling the guys, hey, we're going through this right now, but there's going to be a month later this year that we're going to win 20, 25 games. So we just got to stick with it.
It's really shocking and disappointing to know that his future as a pitcher is in question now. I mean, I think he's certainly definitely going to try to pitch again. He may pitch again, but he may not. I mean, we may have seen this might have been it for Shohei as a two-way player. I think that would be a terrible tragedy if that happens, but there's a reason nobody's done this in 100 years. It's really hard to do.
I love the game, and that guy has been the game and carried baseball on his back for a year, right? Like since WBC, Shohei has had Major League Baseball on his back and done it very well. And to get to a point where not only is he carrying Major League Baseball, he's carrying the weight of free agency, he's carrying the Angels, and after a monster first half, you could see in the second half, while the bat never changed, his body was starting to feel the brunt of that with all the cramping and leg cramping and arm cramping, and now a UCL tear for the second time.
We're all learning this together here. From Barry Sverluga, who covers the team, and Jesse Doherty, too. They've covered the team for years. Strasburg's going to retire. World Series MVP, former number 1 pick. Couldn't overcome complications, thoracic outlet syndrome. Tentatively planning a September announcement.
You get to a certain point where you rehab, and you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's time to call it. But yeah, I mean, the years, and was it 17, 18, 19? Like, he was just unbelievable, and the World Series run he had, and what he did for that team, really to win a World Series. That was a national team that didn't really have a bullpen, so those guys were starting and going to the pen and doing both. And obviously his career was probably shortened and a lot shorter than it should have been, and he was a guy that had great stuff on the mound.
Winning the World Series last year, and then even going to the World Series in 21, and just the tradition the Astros have had for the past 6 years. You could definitely tell, especially Seattle this weekend, they came in wanting to kick our butts, and they did that.
But I guess it's true, man, and you guys could talk about it. I mean, if you don't have strength in your shoulder and you're trying to get to every pitch at the major league level, it just wasn't working. He just did not have barrel control because his shoulder was so weak. And the pandemic and the lockout contributed. I don't know exactly why he couldn't see the best doctors in the world even during the lockout, but whatever the case may be, he got healthy, and that changed everything for him. I think the change of scenery and different voices probably helped as well. Just start over, start anew.
It's great. Love the show, guys. Thanks for having me on. And I've watched plenty on YouTube. I've had to see what Lance Lynn has to say a lot. I know you'll have him on a lot, so it keeps me interested.
That was a quickie look at the best of what we put together from this week on Foul Territory, and also sometimes news breaks during the show, and we have a current player on. This is not like TV where we got to wait and then we'll talk about it after or whatever. We're just like, oh, cool. there's Strasburg news, which obviously wasn't cool for him. He's got to retire because he's got too many injuries and concerns with his body. But we had Corbin Burnes on and got to get his take.
And it was so raw and authentic because this is what happens in the clubhouse. You hear it, it goes across the ticker, and the dudes are like, oh, what do you think? And some guy's going to say one thing, some guy's going to say another thing. Incredible career for him, but it's authentic that we get to do this because we're talking to these active players.
They love it too. And if you want to catch a show live, check out our schedule. You can check it out at the Borgata too to see when we will be back here for shows. And also, if you're new to the party with Foul Territory, we are live every single day, and you can catch the audio version on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your pods. We'll see you next time on Foul Territory. Hey, FT Live fam, if you're new to the party on the BetMGM Sports app, enter the promo code FOUL, F-O-U-L, for up to $1,000 back if your first bet loses. It's simple. Ready? Download the BetMGM Sports app on iOS or Android, or visit BetMGM.com. Sign up and deposit into your newly created account. Place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses. If the bet does lose, your bonus bets will be available once the wager is settled. Gotta use the bonus code FOUL.